So tell me what you want to work on today.
Well, I'd like to work on my fear of a little bit being around snakes, but also in touching and interacting with them.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your life experience of snakes and your responses to snakes.
I don't know exactly when I guess when I was growing up, I just had a couple of encounters, a handful of encounters with like gardener snakes or water snakes, because we had a pond.
In nature, not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just like we had a pond, and so I remember one time swimming and sort of seeing a snake on the side of the pond, and the other time being in one of our window wells, and then sort of seeing a snake on the side of the window well, and I don't really remember my reactions. They weren't positive, but they weren't overwhelmingly negative. But then, and growing up, I didn't have friends who had snakes, but then once I was in college and into adulthood, there were definitely times when I was in rooms with snakes, at parties or just at gatherings, where I was very uncomfortable and always sort of felt like the snake was looking at me from across the room.
Had you picked out, huh?
Really felt
So
that.
did you avoid getting close to them?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you ever touched a snake?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
That is where sort of the like.
So how is this a problem for you?
Well, it's not a major problem, but I feel a lot of sadness because I would like to be able to interact with snakes.
And do you have occasion to do that?
Once in a while, I'm in a
Okay.
location where.
And do you want to interact with them in the wild, or do you want to interact with them that are pets?
More pets.
More
like
pets.
I'd want. And I think it's mostly because I feel like I am connected to a lot of the history and the symbolism and how snakes were integrated into culture at one time.
Okay.
And so that disconnect feels significant for me. The
So
idea
there's more
that
of a philosophical, spiritual sense of
it feels
what snakes hold for you.
Yeah, so it feels strange to feel very connected to that history and the symbolism, but then when I'm face to face to a real snake, to feel like terrified.
Okay. If I had a snake here, and I was holding a snake, how terrified would you be from 0 to 10? Like this close?
I'd probably be an 8.
An 8?
Mm-hmm.
How would you react physically?
I'd probably want to move create
away.
some distance, because there's always the feeling of like it's going to kind of just like jump onto me.
You've never had any experience of that you're aware of, but you have a thought that the snake will jump on you. Okay. Okay. So today you want to work on this, and I guess I need to know of the different techniques we could work with, what would be a good starting point for you? And I know you know about the techniques, so why don't you kind of just share what you think would be a good starting point?
Well, I guess doing some hypnotherapy, maybe having to do with the source.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any cognizant idea whether you're going to go with this? Do you have any like awareness of it yet, or?
Well, I've been thinking about it the last couple days, and I was trying to relate it to those earlier experiences and not really feeling like that there was a huge charge there.
Or traumatized or anything that you can remember?
No, but part of me feels like could be related to some of the other things that are happening for me now, which is sort of the opening that I'm having.
Okay.
I don't.
This might be called a simple phobia if we were to diagnose it, and just so we can talk a little bit about what phobias are and how they seem to come about for people. There's 2 ways that phobias come up. One is because of past experiences that are sometimes very unconscious, past life included, present life included. even in utero included, as sort of a re-triggering of a memory. The other is symbolic. So the snakes might, like you said, might be tied in with something you're dealing with now in a symbolic way. So whatever we uncover, it'll be your connection. So we can do some regression work back to the source of your fear of snakes.
Okay.
And I don't know where it's going to go. It might even be an entity. Who knows? You know. So we'll just follow the process. After we do that, if we have time, we could maybe do some EFT if you like.
Okay.
Just see if we can kind of clear any little debris. Okay, so would you imagine for a minute that I have a snake and just really tune in to that wanting to move away, that wanting to be safe, that won't jump on you, and anything you say to yourself in your inner mind about that as you would see a snake close by. And just pick up on any little signals that are coming up as part of this regression process. What goes on in your body?
Well, just as you were saying that, there's sort of like this, sort of like twitching.
Yeah, little shivers and twitches.
Just like, yeah.
Okay.
First started in my eyes and then kind of came to the middle of my body. And then my neck.
All right. So as your body's twitching, what emotions are you aware of?
It feels like empty.
Bumpy.
Empty.
Empty.
Like I don't know. Because it's not exactly that I'm feeling fear. It's just I'm not having an emotion.
Okay. So it's mostly your body reacts.
Mm-hmm.
In your thoughts, what are you thinking?
Again, like
completely
blank.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so let's ask your higher self and all of its wisdom to support you today and going back in time and space to the event, memory, or cause of this fear of snakes. This empty, shaking, shivering, what would you call it? What is it?
Just like twitching.
Twitching sensation. So just imagine I'm holding a snake and you can see it and it's looking at you and the feeling in your body starts to happen and twitching and empty emotions, empty thoughts. I'm going to count from 1 to 10 as you allow that twitching to take you back in time to the memory, event, or experience most directly related and responsible for your fear of snakes. 1, higher self guiding you. 2, that feeling of wanting to move back, move away. 3, feeling like when you move into a room, the snake's looking at you. 4, 5, being worried it's going to jump on you. 6, 7, higher self guiding you. 8, back to the source. 9, and 10. You're in another time and place. Letting any or all of your senses come into play now. What's the first thing you're aware of experiencing? First thing that comes to mind.
Sort of, I don't know. The first thing that came up was just being like attached to a board.
Attached to a board?
Yeah, I don't know what.
How are you being attached to a board?
Well, I want to say nailed to the board, but I don't know if that's actually true. Or tied.
Okay. So just have a sense of being attached to a board. What position is your body in as you're being attached to the board?
It's just flat and straight.
Mm-hmm. Now take a moment to acclimate to your body, to just be aware of your body, the size and shape of your body, your gender, what you're wearing, and describe whatever comes into awareness about it. What's your body like?
All I can really see is it's like some sort of navy blue clothing,
Uh-huh.
but it's almost like my body's dead and there are holes through it, and the experience I'm having is of like the snake's moving through the holes.
In your body.
Yeah.
And where are you as this is happening? Where's your consciousness?
Well, my point of view as I'm seeing this is just watching this.
Uh-huh. And what's your vantage point like from where you're watching it?
Just kind of right in front.
Okay. Now, as you see the navy blue and the holes, what are your thoughts and feelings about your body?
Again, then it's empty.
It's empty. Okay. So let's go back in time to the situation and incidents prior to this death and find out who you are and what your life is about and what happens that you end up being nailed to a board. I'm going to ask your higher self to take you back to the most significant event in your life before the death of this past life. As I count to 3, go back to the most significant event in this past life. 1, 2, 3. And become aware of your feet. Become aware of the size and shape of your feet. And describe what you're aware of.
I just have kind of funny looking shoes on.
Okay.
They're just like little pointy leather shoes.
Okay. And be aware of your lower body that are connected to these feet. Your stature. Your clothing. Your gender. And describe what comes to awareness.
Definitely a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I have just this navy blue dress on.
Okay.